The Madlanga Commission has been rocked by another dramatic revelation, and this one is raising serious questions about how sensitive information was handled. During the proceedings, it was alleged that the vetting information concerning Madondo came from classified documents that were obtained unlawfully and were never referred to the proper intelligence authority for verification. Before we continue, please kindly subscribe, like and comment your opinion below, and don't forget to turn on your notification. The testimony also challenged claims that have been circulating online.
If that is correct, then it means this section 27 we are looking at was produced at a much later date and then backdated to 21 November 2024.
I understand, Commissioner.
Because if it existed on the 6th of December, then all three of them would have been looking at this one and not the one that they refer to in the clips.
Understood.
And that is a serious problem because it affects you as well. It raises this question. The section 27 you looked at in November or December 2024, which one was it? Was it this one that we are looking at or another one which has not been provided to us?
And this is the one that comes to mind.
Are you sure that in this, you said to ad hoc that the first time you saw a section 27 affidavit was sometime in December? You said middle December, then you corrected yourself and said before 6 December. Which affidavit did you look at in early December or mid-December? Was it this one or was there another affidavit that you looked at that made reference to PKTT? Are you now no longer sure which one it is?
No, I saw one.
We now focus on content,
yes.
Because an affidavit is an affidavit.
Correct.
The one that you looked at in December, did it make a reference to PKTT and forklifts and other things?
I honestly...
Are you no longer sure which affidavit?
I cannot remember that I saw that, the forklift and the PKTT.
Say that again?
I cannot recall seeing forklift and PKTT.
But do you remember which affidavit you looked at in December 2024? Are you now no longer certain?
Now that you're putting it to me, I can't give you a definitive answer. I don't know which one I saw. This one is the most familiar. Let me put it that way. From having worked with the statement, this has always been the one that has been most familiar, and this is the date I recall.
Because it could be that even the one Mr. Rapezo is referring to also had the same date. So don't focus on the date. Let's talk about the content. What was in that affidavit? Did it make a reference to PKTT and forklifts and other things?
Apologies, Commissioner. I can't recall all that detail.
Okay.
So I do apologize. I can't recall all the detail.
No, if you can only give, an honest answer, if that's the honest answer.
I cannot recall.
Yeah.
Perhaps, Commissioner. Ms. Johnson, does it mean your answer now, and you're not recalling, does it mean no one in your team ever said to you, but this is the wrong section 27 back then, and when you went to ad hoc and came back, and as you are before us, and as Mr. Pareachi was testifying, does it mean of your entire team, there isn't a single person that said, hang on, we actually had a different section 27, what happened to that?
No, Commissioner.
No one has ever said that. Thank you.
I do recall what Mr. Pareachi said about when he had access, but I have no recollection of anyone telling me that I'm looking at the wrong document.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioners.
According to the evidence presented, the official A1 statement simply records that Madondo was transferred. It does not mention fraud or any finding of criminal wrongdoing, contradicting allegations that have been widely shared. These developments have intensified scrutiny over the credibility of the documents used and whether proper procedures were followed. If the classified information was indeed obtained outside legal channels, it could have major implications for the Commission's findings and for those who relied on the material. As the hearings continue, South Africans are watching closely to see what further evidence will emerge and whether these claims will be confirmed or challenged. Stay with us for the latest updates from the Madlanga Commission, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below.
I do.
Yes, in these, the vetting that is being questioned is that of General Khumalo's and General Madondo.
Yes. So our section 28 is in part remains unanswered. We don't know why you are inquiring into the vetting of the remainder of the people listed there, except of course for Brigadier Mukwele, because her statement is different. My second question is, if page 3475 suggests that former Minister of Police Becky Cele was involved in this, I take this to be the crime. Am I reading it correctly? Julie assisted and by General Masemola, who fast-tracked the clearance of General Khumalo, knowing that Khumalo did not have a top secret clearance for many years. My first question, what crime is being complained of here?
I am aware that from a certain rank, they are all supposed to have security clearances as per their own internal requirements, and that not having security clearance at a specific rank does not allow you to occupy that rank.
Yes.
Yes. And so for me, it would be, it is more a contravention of either the Intelligence Services Act and or the contravention of a standing order of the South African Police Services.
And what crime is that?
So in this paragraph,
if I may just add, remember, we should keep at the back of our minds section 7, bracket 1, bracket capital A. What crime is that to bring whatever was happening here, assuming it is correct, within the mandate of IDEC?
So we are reading one statement.
Yes.
And the question you asked in council is based just only on this paragraph and what crime commits.
On the vetting issue.
On the vetting issue.
Yes, on the vetting issue.
So if a vetting is fast-tracked, what crime is committed? So if a national commissioner fast-tracks the vetting of one of his generals, what crime is committed there?
The likelihood, Commissioner Khumalo, is that in the manner in which it is done, that there could be fraud having been committed because there are certain processes that happen, and there's it can't happen in 3 days. There's checks, there's you've got to go and do background checks, financial checks. There's quite a few things that must happen. So it would mean that either something fraudulent happened, which could be the only case, but the bypassing of the vetting would be a contravention then in terms of the intelligence services. So other than the fraud, if it took place, there isn't anything else there that would bring it into the mandate.
The question, Ms. Sillo's question is, what places that within the mandate of IDEC? Even if what you're suggesting were to be shown to have happened, they fast-tracked it and they committed some fraud in the process, why would that be something that falls within your mandate in 71A?
Just merely in terms of the fraud, nothing else.
But you do remember that when you appeared last time, you accepted that the fraud, theft, and that list, forgery and uttering, they have to be related.
Yes.
To the main,
a financial crime, or commercial crime,
a serious corruption. So why do you say that would be so in this case? Why would the fast tracking of a security clearance or vetting constitute a serious crime of corruption that falls within 71A?
I hear you, Commissioner Baloyi. I can't take it further than the point that you've made.
Is another way to your answer a clearer way that you don't see why it would be a crime?
As it stands here, I cannot.
That comes within your mandate?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Yes, Ms.
And we know that General Khumalo is facing charges and potential arrest under case 453/06/2025, and that's pertaining to the vetting issue. Is that correct? The warrant of arrest that was suspended, it relates to the vetting issues, doesn't it?
I speak under correction. It relates to the vetting issue of General Madondo.
Of General Madondo?
Yes. And the fraud related to that vetting.
Not General Khumalo's vetting?
Not General Khumalo's vetting. Okay. It relates to a role he played allegedly in
General Madondo
contravention.
Thanks for that. Thank you for that clarification.
So he potentially faces an arrest for something that may not fall within the mandate of IDEC, given this last discussion that you and I had.
I cannot say that not having full sight of all the evidence, given that the allegations against General Madondo in that matter relate pertinently, from my recollection, to her having committed fraud, having misrepresented her position, and that he then knowingly accepted that fraud and then perpetuated the process further. That's why vetting.
Yeah, that's why I limited my question to our vetting discussion, that insofar as that a charge that he's facing may relate to vetting, one of the charges, if there's more than one, may relate to vetting, that potentially may be a charge which doesn't fall within the mandate of IDEC, given what we have discussed.
Yes, it would only be the fraud relating to the alleged fraudulent documents, remarks, etc., that would have been made by General Madondo.
Thank you.
Johnson, do you not sign off on the processes that lead to the warrant being issued? Does that happen behind your back? I was under the impression all along that before your investigators can seek warrants, they have to come to you for sign off.
No, Commissioner. What they do is before they sit with the prosecutors, and they then compile those applications for the warrants. They are checked by the prosecutors and by the deputy in that team.
So you play no part in that process? Not
in the warrant process. We are then briefed afterwards that, or before the warrant is executed, sorry, Chair, that before it is executed, we are then briefed that there is an impending arrest.
Thank you, Commissioners. Then on the logic of case number 453/06/25 against General Khumalo regarding General Madondo's vetting or the lack thereof. I take it IDEC is preparing to charge and arrest former Minister Bheki Cele and General Masemula for General Khumalo's own vetting shortcomings. Logic dictates that should follow.
As I indicated, I'm not vested with the cases at the moment, but that logic does.
That logic does.
Yes. I can't argue the logic away.
It's on the logic of your answer. Would it be appropriate, though, to be investigating such and threatening to arrest Minister Bheki Cele, former Minister Bheki Cele, and General Masemula for the fact that General Khumalo was hired into crime intelligence without vetting clearance, in the absence of any fact that he in fact did not have clearance, which was an absolute prerequisite for his appointment? Is it appropriate to follow that line of investigation culminating in potential charges and arrest based on what you have at 3475?
No, unless they fall within other offenses that are not here.
But it doesn't have other offenses, that's
yes,
far. And this is a statement that was commissioned by Mr. Perumal on the 6th of January 2025, as you see from page 3746. And just like previous 3476, you remember?
3476, yes.
Yeah. Change numbers,
yes.
Numbering. Just like the previous one we had, they seem to have this perennial problem of being signed both at Pretoria and Cape Town. It's consistent, that error, through all of them. Are you able to shed some light as to how this comes about?
So, when the Commissioner of Oaths chair fills in, the Commissioner of Oaths fills in, as you see, they sign their full names, their office, the address of where they are stationed, and the agency for which they work. It is for that reason, on the right under Mr. Perumal, you will have the full names, ex officio, is a chief investigator, the investigating directorate, corruption, IDEC, Brooklyn, Pretoria, National Prosecuting Authority of South Africa, Pretoria. The part immediately under Mr. Adams' under Mr. Adams' signature, that says where they were when they took it, which was, they took it on the 6th day of January 2025, and it was done in Cape Town, with Adams having signed in Cape Town. Mr. Perumal signs as the Commissioner of Oaths, but that address that he appends is the address for where he is stationed as the Commissioner of Oaths.
No, if I may just interject, I apologize. My challenge lies in the wording above Mr. Perumal's signature. You see it reads thus, done and signed to at Pretoria on the 6th day of February, that's typed. And at the conclusion of that paragraph, it says, in my presence at Cape Town.
No, they have to explain. That I hope is just an honest error.
Well, it happens across all of them.
Yeah, because it's, if we work on the logic of how it's up, everything else is logical, including the date stamp, because IDEC only has a national office, which is Pretoria, but they, Councillor, can't argue that away.
No, I'm not attributing it to you in any way. I thought perhaps you might be able to shed some light.
No, I absolutely cannot.
If we then go to 3477, it's a preamble to a statement, but this one, if you note the top right corner, it doesn't have a cast number. And at 3478, it lists fraud and corruption as the offenses. And as you correctly pointed out earlier, the statement, it doesn't have a handwritten statement from the docket by Mr. Adams. Somehow it's not available. What we have instead at 3479 is a statement, once again of the 6th of January, signed by Mr. Adams and commissioned by Mr. Perumal. This is the affidavit you referred to a short while ago regarding the case, the transfer of Major General Madondo.
Correct.
And now this is the case you suggest both General Madondo and General Khumalo were due to be arrested for in June 2026. I understood you correctly.
This would be Brooklyn 543.
That's what you had indicated earlier. We know 453 is in respect of the top secret clearances. You recall when we were looking
Yes,
at...
that would be, yes, if you look at, I think that sorry, Chair, I don't mean to waste time.
No, not at all. With the Chair's permission, of course.
Because if you look at 3481 and 3482, if the numbers have remained, that's Brooklyn CAS 543 of 6/2025, and that is the CAS that refers, yes, correct, to Madondo and Khumalo.
Now, staying at 3479 then, we say the allegations relate to the questionable lateral transfer of Major General Madondo from KZN to CI head office by General Khumalo, Lieutenant General Khumalo, who was assisted by other senior generals to do so, knowing that she had failed to secure a top clearance for many years. First leg of that, why is IDEC charging General Madondo for that based on what Mr. Adams alleges? What wrong did she commit by being laterally transferred? There is no suggestion that she committed fraud by misrepresenting or otherwise her clearance position or status.
It is not in this paragraph, but I do understand that that is what is being investigated in 543 of 6/2025 is fraud committed in she committed fraud, but in order to have herself laterally transferred.
How do you land there? This is all you have regarding her transfer.
Yes.
How do you land at a place where you say she committed fraud?
No, I'm saying it is not in here.
Where is it?
It is in the rest of the docket where they have other statements. They're not Adam's statements. So I take your point again, as we did about the vetting, but just to indicate that there was in fact a fraud investigation that that was undertaken, given her own allegedly fraudulent conduct. It's not in this paragraph. I accept that.
I take it that by the time we apply for an arrest warrant, the charges are finalized. And I know that is the docket we had agreed we will tread carefully around.
Yes.
But on the basis that you have an arrest warrant, that suggests you have an application for a J50, which suggests you have finalized the charges. So those are more or less cast in stone. From your recollection, what is the fraud she's said to have committed without undermining whatever ongoing investigations there are? If you can.
I have the answer, but I'm unable to answer it without casting aspersions on General Madondo on a matter that is still pending review.
You are about to arrest her, Advocate Johnson,
yes,
on the strength of a charge sheet,
yes,
that criminalizes some or other of her conduct,
Yes.
I think you may disclose. You can't take that back. The only way you can take it back is for that warrant of arrest to be withdrawn and the charges dropped. So it doesn't, the nature of the fraud that underpins that charge and justifies the J50 remains. Whether you say it here or you don't say it, it's there on record. It can be changed.
I understand that, but if Chair, you will allow me, this matter is under review. I am cautious, having removed myself from the matter, that I shouldn't be saying anything that has the potential to prejudice that outcome. The review relates to representations she may have made, and it goes to an independent panel. And I'm merely saying that any utterances I make might have a negative influence. And I shouldn't do that, because that matter should be adjudicated on the strength of what is there before an independent panel. I'm not sure if the Chair would allow me that, but that is the basis on which, Chair. I'm not trying to be obstinate. It is the basis on which I would prefer not to answer.
I'll support you in your request to the Chair. I'll leave it there. I will not pursue it any further.
Can you please articulate what you said again, Mr.
Chair, Advocate Johnson made a heartfelt plea to the commissioners.
Yes, I heard I'm not quite sure I followed what you said.
What I said was, I shall not pursue the matter further.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, I hear Ms. Silla is not going to pursue the matter further, but I want to ask a different question. You're related to this. Your code of conduct says something about you examining or satisfying yourself about whether evidence was lawfully obtained or material that is potentially going to be used as evidence was obtained lawfully or not. It says that. Now, we know in this affidavit, and your code says that, I think you must be familiar with it. If you want to check, you can look at D2, G, and then I think rather H, in fact. And then if you want, you can look at I, but you're familiar with this. Now, in this affidavit, Mr. Adams says that this information about General Madondo, he knows it from the documents that were pushed under his door in Parliament. And you remember we had this conversation last week about crime intelligence information having clearly been obtained, not lawfully given. Did you, when you see an affidavit that says this, or when you get a briefing, because you must have been given a briefing, I expect you would have asked the question, how do we know this? Where did we get this information about the vetting of General Madondo? And you would have been told, what were you told about it? How this information was obtained?
According to the feedback, the information